All right, so this week we're talking about electricity and things you need to understand about electricity and how it affects, well, I mean, everyday life for the most part. So what are the kinds of things we're going to cover? Well, we're going to look at voltage sources, current, resistors, power, and household circuits and safety. And we're going to talk about each one of these. There are all kinds of different voltage sources out there. You're familiar with them. They're batteries, and there's the power lines outside your house and running down the street. Um, this is the source of most electrical potential that we use. There are also solar cells, and the major two difference between the power outside your house and batteries produce what's called DC current. And so DC current is it's our direct current. It is steady. It doesn't have any form to the voltage from it is just 9 volts, right? So when you look at these are 9-volt batteries, 3 volts, whatever they are. So that's direct current is like that. And solar cells produce direct current for the most part. Okay. What we have out on the street is alternating current. And what that means is the current, instead of being just, if you're to plot 10 volts, right? And versus time for a battery, it's just 10 volts all the time. Okay. If you look out at the street, what you have is we call it, or let's go to your house. We call it 120 volts or 110 volts, depending on what kind of power you have. This is time again, but now it's a sinusoid. All right, it's a sine going up and down and up and down, and it actually peaks up here a good bit above 110 or 120 volts because what you're looking at, what we call 110 volts, um, is the root mean square voltage. Basically, 110 volts is exactly what the delivers exactly, well, if we were to go from alternating current to direct current to deliver the exact same amount of power, we would need 110 volts. And that's really what the RMS current or RMS voltage tells you. It tells you, okay, what's the equivalent for DC? Um, and in your home, there are different ways that you get power. There's plus or minus 120 volts, and then there is three-phase power, which is general safer. And three-phase power gives you 110 volts or 220 volts. Two-phase power, which I have in my house because it's a little older, um, two-phase power gives me plus or minus 120 volts or 240 volts. So your electrical equipment actually has to be able to work on a range of voltages between 110 and 120 or 220 and 240. Some electrical equipment is designed specifically to be hooked up to three phases, and you'll see that like major air conditioning units may be three phase, major heating units may be three phase. Uh, okay, so that's it for basically where does power come from? And we'll cover more as we go through, but this is the beginning.